The Ascending Series of Substance, Chapter 26, Sri Aurobindo, The Life Divine. Now here, in the Ascending Series of Substance, we finally come to a very juicy and interesting and important part of the book, which should be very interesting for all those of you who are also interested in spiral dynamics or the Hawkins Scale. The last video was the knot of matter. Now, here we will see how we can cut through the knot of matter. For matter is not an objective thing. What is matter? Matter is something we can touch. We usually think of matter as solid, and everything that is not solid is not matter. But that is of course wrong. As we know from chemistry and physics, there is matter that doesn't feel solid. There are different states. A piece of matter can be solid, fluid, or gaseous. So the air we breathe is also matter, but we can't touch it. The water we drink and the water we swim in is also matter, but it's not solid, it's fluid. We can push it aside easily. Yet when we talk of matter, we do not talk of water and air and other gases. We talk of things like earth, stone, metal, sand, something unyielding. A substance so dense and hard that it pushes back, it resists our touch and our pressure. So it relates mostly to our sense of touch, but that's not all of our senses. Yeah, our main senses are touch, taste, smell, hearing, sight. What we taste and smell is also material, but much more ephemeral than stone. Taste and smell more belongs to the organic chemistry, while touch more to the inorganic chemistry, at least in our associations. Glass doesn't taste of anything to us, but water does. And what we eat, the food we eat, we taste and smell. We can smell tiny particles that are swept around in the air currents. And much more so are dogs, for example, able to do that. But what then of hearing and sight? Hearing is just a certain frequency of electromagnetic waves. Same for sight, even more subtle. We can hear sound wave and we can see light waves and particles. There's a never-ending discussion even if light is a particle or a wave or both. But it's definitely not something that we associate with the word matter. And just as we have these five senses, from dense to subtle, touch, taste, smell, hearing, sight, just thus are also the worlds. The world that corresponds to touch, to the dense matter, and to the element of earth is called the gross sphere or the gross world. And it is quite unique in Indian philosophy to claim that there's more than one world. This gross world that we can perceive every day is just one of several worlds according to ancient Indian philosophy and spirituality. And it's all a matter, it's all a topic of density and solidity on one side of the spectrum and subtleness on the other side. of the spectrum. Just because we can't touch it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So we have 5 senses: touch, taste, smell, hearing, sight. We have 5 elements. And then we have 5 elements: earth, water, fire, wind, and space, or ether. And you can see that those elements also decrease in solidity and density and increase in subtlety. Yeah, earth is the densest, then water, then fire, then wind, then space, ether. They don't have any material aspects left to it. And just as there are 5 senses and 5 elements, there are also 5 worlds. We have the gross world, the vital world, the mental world, the supramental world, and beyond that, Satchidananda, pure consciousness, bliss, force. And they're all ways to put the spectrum between dense and subtle into perspective and into words. Be it the elements, the worlds, the spiral dynamics colors, the Hawkins scale from 0 to 1000, and so on. All of it are models, scales, series of consciousness, of dense consciousness and of subtle consciousness, of touchable consciousness and untouchable consciousness. One we call matter, the other one we call spirit. Thus also the strange term spirituality. Is it about spirits, about ghosts? No, but it is about something ephemeral, something you can't touch, you can't see it, you know it's there, but you don't know exactly what, because you cannot taste, smell, touch, hear, see it. The spirit, the unfathomable and invisible origin of everything, is beyond all our senses and beyond all the worlds. And here the teaching of Sri Aurobindo and Meher Baba is almost completely the same, although to my knowledge they have never met. The first world, the most dense one that we are most aware of, is the gross world or sphere. The second one, a little bit more subtle, a little bit less dense, is the vital world, also called subtle world. Here, life force is the guiding principle. Yeah, you know that there's a difference between a living person and a dead person. A dead person only exists, a corpse only exists in the gross sphere. A living person also exists in the vital sphere. He, she, it is alive. It is filled with life force, vital force. Then thirdly, the mental world. The mental world is the underlying principle behind everything. Pure creativity, pure potential, pure thought, pure wisdom, pure plan, unmanifest. Or else in the process of manifesting itself in the vital and gross world. Next is the supramental. That is what Sri Aurobindo is talking about all the time. The supramental is starting to manifest in matter and is lifting up matter into the next step of cosmic evolution. So for him, the supramental, you cannot even call it a world or sphere. It's a not yet fully understood phenomenon. It's probably something we cannot grasp as human beings, is beyond our reach. We as human beings exist in the gross sphere, the vital sphere and the mental sphere, although we are almost always only aware of the gross sphere. But the process of enlightenment is to become aware of the vital and mental sphere as well. But while it is already quite something that we as human beings are able to access and enter the mental world, we also have the potential to contact the supramental, the source, the origin. the divine. And the even more subtle version of the supramental is the Satchitananda, the triune principle of force consciousness bliss or truth consciousness bliss, from which everything arises. The eye of the storm, the complete stillness, which it seems some human beings are also able to contact, or rather be contacted by it and submit to it and permit it. And even beyond that, everything that may be beyond the supramental and the Satchitananda, he just calls spirit. So maybe you have watched my Meher Baba videos. There's also the gross sphere, the subtle sphere, which is the vital sphere, the mental sphere, which are also divided further into 6 planes. And then there's the first plane, the last or the first plane, God realization of himself as the infinite. This is the supramental. And everyone who has glimpsed the supramental has been at first frightened shitless because it's so infinite. This is the supramental. And beyond the supramental, there's Satchitananda, which is in Meher Baba's drawing the beyond state of God. And what Sri Aurobindo is calling spirit, Meher Baba calls God in beyond state. So whatever you call it, and if it makes sense or not, the point here is that there's a ascending or descending series scale model here of consciousness expressing itself in more and more material forms. It's about form, about consciousness taking up form and then making this form alive and then giving this form a mind and then giving this form access to supermind. And all this we call the search for enlightenment. And all this we call involution. And all this we call evolution. And all this we call the divine. The life divine. In which substance ascends and consciousness descends. And is thus the same, only seen from its 2 different extreme perspectives. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me as a Patreon. Thank you for liking and subscribing and sharing the videos with your friends. Thank you all patrons, and see you soon.